That's right. We are back in the new back garden shed. Past couple of weeks I've been playing loose and fast with the boundaries of power tool, health and safety, and I've managed to concoct a back garden shed. I'll just get this up and running, see if I can get this one rocking on. Oh, there it is. It's coming up, so hopefully I can see your comments on my laptop. This is all stuck together with bubble gum and bits of sticky tape. This laptop stand stroke camera stand can only be described as rubbish. So there's a good chance it could all fall over at any point. Also, the router from the internet is quite a way away, so hopefully there's not too much of a lag, and hopefully you can hear me. You can see bits of the back garden shed there. I'll see if I can get rid of those for that professional touch. Probably cut my head off now though. Do some shadow puppets. First person is in John Caton. Hi John. Thanks very much for having us. I'll just go back to where I was there. Yeah, good stuff. So I've got the cup of tea, traditional cup of tea. We've had another 1,000 subscribers, so we're now over 8,000 subscribers, which is pretty cool. Party, says Ross. Yeah, not half Ross. Party indeed. And yes, very humbling, hitting the 8,000. I never thought we'd get halfway near this. So it's very, very exciting, and thank you to you all. If you're new to the subscriber 1,000 skate party format, basically it's me waffling and you guys commenting in. You can ask whatever you want and we can talk skateboarding until such time as the tea runs out. As you can see, I'm a bit short of props. The old back garden shed had all my boards on the wall, but this is my breathable membrane, and that's got to have some insulation and other stuff before it properly becomes a back garden shed that one could claim one's own. Yeah, so I started the YouTube channel, well, it's coming up for 2 years ago now, and I was about a year into the skating when I started it, and that first year was pretty exciting. It's a shame I didn't capture some of that first year because there were some comedy moments. Hey Andrew, what's up John? How are you coping without Mount Hawk at the moment? Oh Andrew, it's a bit of a wounder. They're closed for business at the moment, so yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm missing the Mount Hawk ramps. John Caton asks, when are you putting in the new mini ramp in the backyard? Oh, I reckon get the shed finished and then we'll start thinking about some sort of skateboarding apparatus in the backyard. Definitely, John. Dennis, greetings from Southern California. I'm glad to see that the new shed is in the making. Yeah, it's very, very basic at the moment. And I dare say quite echoey. I hope I'm coming through, okay? Maybe somebody could comment that I'm loud and clear, if not a little bit echoey. Mark Durham says, hi John, how's it going? It's going very well, Mark. I've been up on the roof today putting on a rubber roof membrane. This is what you tune in for, such updates. And my mate Callum came round, he's a fireman, and he was skipping around on that roof like no one's business, and I felt very humbled by his roofing and running around abilities. He said, I was sort of pinned down on the top of the roof, and he said, are you scared of heights? And I sort of felt like, yes, definitely don't want to fall off this shed. Coachy Coach is back. Hi Coachy Coach. Yo John, are the little nippers happy with the move? I would say they're definitely pretty happy with the move, Coachy Coach. Yeah, they've started Mount Hawk School this week and they're having a lovely old time. They've been to all of the ramps in the local area, skating, and there is a really nice BMX track So they've fallen in love with the off-road BMX. Simon Brown, missing the old mini ramp? I've got Mount Hawke skate park just down the road, so I'm pretty happy with the arrangements, I have to say, Simon. I've got into me vert skating a little bit lately. It's bitten me like a bug, and I can't leave it alone. So I've been concentrating on the proper big ramp as opposed to the mini ramp. And there's only so many hours in the day, and I do feel like I'm missing the mini ramp, but the vert ramp is something that seems to be a cruel mistress and demands all of your time. Check the Water 39 is saying, cheers John, hope your channel keeps growing. Nice one, dude. Yeah, when I started the channel, it was really under the banner of getting my progression to be a bit supercharged, and I found that making a video each week really gave me something to focus and strive for, and it forced me into learning a new trick, and I really enjoyed that process. Also, when I was making the video, I could look back and see where I was going wrong, and it gave me a chance to sort of coach myself as I was going. Hey, the Sarah Allen, hi John, great to see you mobbing. Oh, moving on, hey, yeah. Coachy Coach is saying, have you ever thought of playing guitar while skateboarding? I'm pretty sure you could do it and it would make for a great video on your channel. Yeah, Coachy Coach, pre-skateboarding, I was doing a lecture for some guitar students, and it was in a theatre. And one of them had a skateboard and I couldn't skateboard at the time. And I decided that it would be a good stunt to play a guitar solo while skateboarding across the stage. And it was all going really well until I hit like an XLR mic lead and the wheels stopped and I went flying and the guitar headstock got a fair bit of damage. And ever since then, my skateboarding and guitar unison career has definitely taken a back seat. Daniel Erickson, hi John, what is your next trick you want to learn? What is your dream trick that you are aiming for in the future? At the moment, Daniel, I am aiming for a backside air over the coping on the vert ramp and also the frontside air, and those are my two main things. If I can get a rock fakie or a axle stall on the vert ramp, I'd also be most happy. But these are tricks that I already know on the mini ramp, so it's a bit strange because the vert version is obviously on steroids, and there are a few idiosyncrasies that need to be taken into account. So at the moment I'm thinking about adapting what I've got onto the vert. I would like to do a frontside Smith grind at some point, vert or mini ramp. I'm not too fussed. Spencer Orton, way! Oh hello big man, hello Spence. Spencer's a good old mate of mine. He went to the same music college as I did, and Spencer also plays guitar to a very high level, and he also skateboards to a very high level and has a backyard mini ramp. So Spence is very much the man. Ross Allen, whoa, there's a bit of a smiley face there. Spencer Orton, I used to play the guitar when walking the dogs on my board. That's like triple whammy, Spence. Spence was the first guy I knew that had a right-handed Jimi Hendrix setup. So he played a left-handed guitar, and he played it right-handed instead of Jimmy playing a right-handed guitar left-handed. It was pretty cool. It's all quite guitar-centric tonight. There's not too much skateboarding banter. This is surprising. So where was it? Yeah, so the channel was there to really focus the progression and give me something to aim for. So I wasn't too fussed. And to be honest with you, it's so niche, some old bloke falling off a skateboard, that I'm absolutely amazed that as many people tune in as they do, and it's very, very nice indeed. It seems like I got really lucky that there was a load of dudes and dudesses in a similar position to myself, a couple of nippers, and them getting into it and then thinking that's something that would be nice to do together. So I think there's some similar stories out there to that. Craig Slater is asking, hey John, congrats on the 8K, thanks dude. Just upgraded to a 9.75 Welcome deck and hoping to get my first drop in. Any fear wobble advice? Oh my goodness, great. Yeah, the drop it. Crikey. It is a game of opposites, the drop in. So I think what most people do, this is my experience as well. I went up there and thought, whoa, there's a load of danger in front of me. Best to take it a little bit careful and stay away from that. And obviously leaning back on the drop in is the worst thing you can do. So I think it's a game of opposites where you've got to go, that's the worst thing I feel like I should do, which is to go right far forwards. But that is in fact the thing you've got to trick your mind into doing somehow. But I guess it's a case of padding up as much as you can and being ready to go a cropper, because for me, there was a fair few nasty fallings off. And also, if you can find a mellow transition, I learned on quite a steep, whippy transition, which is the worst thing ever, because what you need is time. But all of those things, hopefully, should come in. But I don't think anybody in the history of skateboarding has ever not come a cropper trying to learn the drop in. It's a very, very hard thing to do, I think. Yeah, so my advice would be the same as everybody. Just make sure you commit forwards as much as you can and as hard as you can, and probably go double again as far forward as you think you should, and it should come out. It's actually better to go flying off the front than it is to come off the back. Coming off the back sucks. It's the worst thing. Lassie22 is asking, are you going to build a new ramp at your new place? I'm thinking, because I've got Mount Hawk Skate Park, which is the big 13.5-foot vert ramp, and that's 5 minutes down the road. So I'm so focused on that and into that. They've got a lovely bowl, they've got a lovely street, they've got lovely everything. It's incredible. I'm thinking that all my time's going to be taken up there. However, there is something about having your own ramp that's really, really nice. There is a play park about 2 streets down, and they've got a place where they used to have a skate park, and they've taken the metal ramps away, so now it's just a piece of asphalt, as they say in America. And I'm thinking, whoa, that would be a perfect spot for a little DIY, or get in touch with the council and start the process of getting a new skate park built, because my rationale is there was a skate park there, and it's obviously been taken down because it's not been maintained or couldn't be maintained. So that says to me there could be a skate park there again. And oh my gosh, a mini ramp at the end of the road where people couldn't pull a face when you had a go would be really good. Dennis is asking, any new boards in the future? Any reissues, Catch Your Eye, Santa Cruz, Powell, etc.? My latest reissue was the one that I did a little doodah on, and that is my favourite ever. It's the Kendall, and it's got the Cruise Missile 2 concave, which I think they have in quite a lot of their reissues. So I really love this bad boy. I love the look of it, and the only thing that I miss is a bit of nose, because I like the odd nosy trick, even though I do enjoy the challenge of trying to make this nose work. But Mr. Kendall did a version a couple of boards on where he's got a bigger nose, so I'm thinking of trying to get hold of that, but the problem is they're worth £1 million, so they're really hard to get hold of. My other board, this is the only one I'm riding at the moment, which is the Anderson board that you all know and love, but I've set it up for vert, so it's got I've got my T on. I'll put my T down there. That can go on there. Everything's on a step ladder at the moment, which is perched up and chocked, so it could go at any point. Yeah, so the Anderson setup at the moment has got no risers, straight bolted on. 159 Indy trucks, and then you can see they're pretty tight. So I've got 3.5 turns on those. And the reason I went for that is because that's what Tony Hawk says he has on his. So I thought if Mr. Hawk is doing that, then so should I. And then I've got 58mm Spitfire OG Classics and the Santa Cruz rails, and that is the setup for the big vert ramp at Mount Hawk, and it's going an absolute treat. I absolutely love it. Oh yeah. Where do we get to? I'll make sure I don't miss anybody. So yeah, we've done Dennis's board. Mark, I took my Anderson deck out for its first park session today. Gotta say, it's freaking awesome. I have to say, Mr. Anderson did a good job designing that board. I agree with you, Mark. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's lovely. The concave and the actual flight deck construction, those are the two really amazing things. And then if you can make use of any of the little money bumps, then that's pretty exciting as well. Andrew Spicy, use your new concrete skills on the DIY at the park. Indeed, Andrew, yeah, I've put down a concrete block to build the new backyard shed on, and I have to say that was stressful because I've never done anything out of concrete, and in my mind it was going to end up like the Himalayas, just setting before I could even straighten it out. It would have been a disaster, and I would have had to pay double to get somebody to mow it all up and do it again properly. Mark, are you still near Prevail and Duck Lane, or are you looking at a new local park? Yes, I am nowhere near Prevail and Duck Lane anymore, Mark. I've moved to Cornwall, so I'm 5 minutes away from Mount Hawk Skate Park, and I've been skating St Ives and also the monumental monolith of concrete that is Concrete Waves. So much excitement. Lassie22, sounds good. Good job on the videos, keep them coming. Thank you so much, dude. Very, very kind. I try and read what it says because this screen's quite a way away. It's Tall and Dorky. What wheels do you prefer for skate light? I've got to say, I only used the Spitfire OG Classics, so 99A. And I found that they worked really well on the skate light vert ramp. That was the 12-footer over in Cardiff, if you saw that video of the vert competition. Yeah, they worked absolutely a treat on the skate light. I've got to say, skate light is a bit of a deluxe skating experience. If you haven't tried it, it's just very, very quick and very, very smooth. And I was finding on the Cardiff ramp that I got a lot more for my money when I pumped. So all the pumps were coming up a little bit longer than I found on a bit of plywood surface. So yeah, that's the wonder of the skate light. A little bit more tea. Yeah, Christopher is saying, oh, does he love your vids? Totally right. Oh, that's very, very kind. Yeah. It's a wonderful community of skateboarders, and everybody's so supportive, and it's been one of the finest things I've endeavoured. It was quite scary setting up the skateboarding channel, and YouTube can be quite a scary place. You know, somebody could write something mean, but I have to say everybody's been so kind, and it's been a really positive experience, and people have chimed in with lots of great advice and great tips, and it's really been helpful. Andrew Spicer, £200 a sheet. Oh, yeah, it is the skate light. I really, really want a skate light for my backyard mini ramp, the one that I built, and I only needed 5 sheets. And the problem was that the skate light was more than it cost to build the ramp, because the skate light was, I think this was pre-COVID, so I think the skate light was about £150 a sheet then. But we were still talking the best part of 750 quid, and that was more than the whole ramp cost. And also I need more, I need 900 because I need another sheet to do the 2 decks. So yeah, it was a little bit pricey, but yeah, I guess you get what you pay for. And it is what they use at all of those X Games and any of those sort of ramps. It seems to be skate light or nothing. Tall and Dorky, I have 13 sheets of skate light in my shed waiting for me to get my ramp built. Oh my goodness, that's lovely. Still trying to decide what radius my 4-foot ramp should be? Any suggestions? That's a great question. For a 4-foot ramp, my coach Greg Nowick has a 4.5-foot ramp, and he's got a 7-foot transition on it, and it is nice and fast and tight. For my 3-foot ramp, I had a 6.5-foot transition, and that seemed to work quite well. So Greg was mini ramp champion and knows a lot about mini ramps, and I've skated his mini ramp and it is jolly good. So I would imagine for a 4-foot ramp about 7-foot radius would be good. But it depends what you want. I think the mistake I made when I built my mini ramp is I built the transition a little bit too mellow. So it was great to start with, and then I sort of grew into it and almost outgrew it a little bit, because the downside of a mellow ramp is you find it hard to get the speed, and also it's not so great for doing little tricks where you want to pop up out of the coping, and also you don't get the clearance to do certain slides and grinds. So it's well worth getting it just nice. But there'll be a lot of information on Tutnet about it. Anybody else chime in who knows would be good. Oh, Dennis, thanks for keeping us all guys stoked. It's great to get inspiration from your videos before I hit the half pipe. I'm one of the lucky few to have one. Keep on trucking. Yeah, Dennis, you've got your own half pipe. That's cool. And many thanks for the kind words. Craig, I think 2 or 3 small left, but the kind guys that do the t-shirts at Hoax, they've got a little offshoot, and they've got a thing they're coming up with where you can just order it and they just print it on demand. So once they get that going, it will be forever more. Because what I did with that first one was I just ordered a bulk load and then they all sold out. So hopefully it will just be, it will never sell out. You just order it and it goes. I hope that answers the question, but I'll let you know once that happens. Hey John, do you go to Ferndown? I no longer, Paul, because I'm living down in Cornwall, so I can't get over to Ferndown, but I believe it's a lovely park. I have been over there when I was living in Bournemouth, and I know it's popular with the BMXers, and I took my nippers there and they enjoyed it much. Tall and Dorky, thanks. Oh, you're incredible at the UK Pansit Plays. You're incredible at the UK Vert, great runs. John, oh, thank you so much, dude. Yeah, I'm trying to work on those runs. I'm trying to get the whole thing above the coping and a bit more legit, and also get the rock fakie and a few lip tricks. But I'm not going to lie to you, it's pretty scary. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so a little bit more tea. Hopefully it's not too echoey. It seems to be quite echoey here. I haven't got any insulation or anything in. This is literally just the outside walls and then a breathable membrane. So once the insulation's in, it should be a better back garden shed. Obviously I'm going to get all my skateboards in, going to get all my music making devices set up. It's pretty exciting. Getting the rubber roof on today was pretty good, because it meant hopefully that the rain won't ruin the entire affair, and that was the worry before I got it on. And when it rains in Cornwall, it seems to definitely rain. Tall and Dorky, when getting air out of a ramp, do you need Vert on the ramp? Certainly not, sir. On a mini ramp, it's just a slightly different technique. What I'm finding, because I used to try and get air over the coping on non-vert sections, I'm finding that I'm pulling myself quite a way off of the vert ramp now, so I'm having to calm it down a bit, because my usual amount of pull was to try and hop out of non-vertical ramps, and now I'm starting to get a little bit further up the vert ramp. I'm finding that, a good old hop, and you're right out there, in no man's land. Legs and arms are flailing. Oh my gosh. Dennis is asking, what's your favourite pint after Since I moved to Cornwall, I'm finding myself drinking cider, which is the connoisseur's choice. And there are some lovely brands of cider down this neck of the woods. So I'd have to say it's been a pint of cider. I've had more than one since I moved down here. As I said, I'm not a massive drinker because I like to get up early and get cracking. And at the moment, the shed build is getting me very excited. I can barely sleep due to the excitement because there's always another thing to do on the shed. RBF Group is saying, you inspire me, mate. I've got to get on a vert ramp soon. Come on! The more vert ramp skaters, the better. Vert is not dead. Vert skating is not a crime. There's all these brilliant stickers that you see dotted around the vert scene. I've got to say, the vert skating scene I've absolutely fallen in love with. I didn't know it existed, and then you just have a little look, just peel back the curtain, and there's a whole world waiting for you of amazing skateboarding individuals doing amazing skateboarding that you never knew existed. So I'm having to say I'm loving it, and I'm looking forward to the Mount Hawk vert competition, which is going to be my next. That's what I'm training for at the moment. That's going to be my second competition on the vert. Vasily is saying, woohoo, hello from Russia. Yeah, man. Oh, that's really kind. Dreaming about, EPDM. Oh, yeah, I am indeed, Andrew. I have to say, a little bit of membrane goes a long way. Also, respect for having the balls to skate vert, mate. I don't even have the bottle to skate flat anymore. Well, yeah, it's very exciting. Myself and a good friend of mine had a little potter today, and we were both whooping and cheering and trying to contain ourselves. I'll try and pronounce Dakra. Is it Dakra? Hi, John. Love the channel. And as a result, I'm getting into surf skating. Yeah, not bad for a 46-year-old. Come on. I'd like to ask, what ballpark cost might it be to build a mini ramp in the garden for my boy? I have to say, I can only talk really pre-COVID. It looks like you might not be a gentleman from the UK. But in the UK, timber prices have pretty much doubled. So a set of wood is now extraordinarily expensive. I'd imagine it's the same worldwide, but when I built my ramp, I spent about 500 UK pounds on the materials, and then that quickly grew because you always need another set of screws and you always need another little bit of wood. I had safety rails on, which were essential, and I'd say all up it cost me about 600 or 650 pounds, and then I've added to it consistently. So I'm thinking now, it would, for the same ramp, it would probably cost me £1,000, I reckon, UK pounds. But it depends, I guess, where you can get the wood from and how big the ramp is going to be. My ramp was pretty small. It was only 5 sheets of ply big on the riding surface, so it was pretty small. Vasily just came back from pool riding session. Come on! Love a bit of pool skating. Woo! Ian! Oh, you're from Germany. Oh, yeah, nice one. I did a little tour through Germany when I'd only been skating about 8 months, and I have to say, you have some magnificent skate parks, some absolutely wonderful bits and bobs. I wasn't really good enough to fully exploit them, but I remember being excited from start to finish when I was skateboarding through Germany. Tall and Dorky, my materials will be around $2,000 for the ramp, plus another $2,000 for the skate line. This is in the US. It will be 16 foot wide and 4 foot tall. That's a nice size ramp, Tall and Dorky, and that is a nice spec. I would imagine everybody in the community would be very excited to be skating a skate-like ramp with those dimensions. May I ask, are you thinking of sneaking an extension on 1 or 2 bits of that, because that would probably be the all-time most perfect ramp. 4 foot, 6 foot extensions, 16 foot wide. Oh my gosh. Dacra pronounced dark. Yeah, hippie parents. Yes, UK based. Nice one, dude. Oh, UK based. So yeah, you'll know the chat. Yeah, and you'll know the pain of the timber price. So hopefully I wasn't too vague on the price, but it has changed a lot. Last time I built a back garden shed, I'm remembering those prices, and that was 7 years ago, and this is a very different experience in terms of prices. Oh my gosh. Woo! Good stuff. Yeah, so next video is coming up. My wife is a yoga instructor, so I'm going to do a stretching and yoga for skateboarders, because I've been finding it very beneficial to stay in the game and also stop fatigue. So I'm going to get my wife Charlotte in, and she's going to do a little bit of a routine that she's designed especially for my skateboarding, just through the muscles that I find get tweaked, and also the extra flexibility that I feel I need. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that video, because it'll be totally different to anything that we've done before. It might be quite amusing. I've also been sent a surf skate by the wonderful people at 66. Many thanks to them. So I'll be doing a review on that surf skate, because it's a really interesting piece of kit. Anybody who follows me on... I'll start again. Anybody that follows me on Instagram will have seen that 66 surf skate. It's woo! And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm probably more prolific on the Instagram, just because it's quite easy to upload the clips and the pictures. The YouTube takes a little bit longer to get the clips together and to edit. So if you want to go on the Instagram, it's John Bishop Skate, oddly enough. Here we go, let's keep going. John Caton, hey, any street skating lately? Rails and the sort. My street skating is a little bit more tailored towards the freestyle. So I've got my freestyle board, and I like doing my flat ground that way. Or I guess that's sort of the godfather and predecessor of modern street skating. I also like the odd curb. I love a bit of a curb. I got a little bit into ledges, and I went an absolute cropper and sort of slid out on a ledge. And I fell so quickly that I hit on my shoulder. I couldn't even get my arm out to stop myself. And I'm pretty sure I broke something in my shoulder, or at least something went wrong. And it's only just got right. And I asked myself the question, it's all about risk and reward at the age of 47. Is grinding a ledge really worth not being able to do the mini ramp and the bowl and the vert, which is sort of my passion, but I really do enjoy the street when I have a go. It's just, I find that the ramifications of such a pursuit are pretty full on. I know it sounds silly, the vert ramp is like obviously a lot higher, but you can sort of glide and knee slide out of that, whereas if I come a cropper even at skateboard height on the street, no pads, it always, skins things, and oh my gosh. I've still got that from street skating the other day. I don't know whether anybody can see that, but it's a bit of it sort of sticks out a bit. It doesn't look too good, whatever it is. Ian says exactly what I was looking for. Good thinking, John. Nice one, dude. Dark is saying £1,000 seems attainable. Just a little ramp for my 6-year-old and me. Seems like a nice little project. Yeah, it's lovely, dude. I mean, you may not end up spending that amount. What I'd recommend is going to the local timber merchant, not like to the high street DIY shop, as it were. Go to a timber merchant and see if you can do a little bit of a deal, explain what you're doing and get it all in one go. Otherwise, you end up going down your high street DIY shop that seem to charge a fortune for a strip of wood, and it all mounts up if you go down that route. Whereas if you just buy a job lot and get it delivered, that's what I did from Dorchester Timber when I was living up that way. Tall and Dorky, I was thinking I would add a 2.4 wide, 18-inch tall extension I just saw a Chad Caruso video where he skated a sweet backyard ramp without extensions, and they were grinding almost the entire length. Yeah, I guess that is the thing. When I made an extension for my backyard mini ramp, I made it so that it was movable, because I still wanted to have the possibility to do the long grind, but I also wanted the extra speed from the drop in, and also the extra challenge of doing things a little bit higher. So yeah, I guess if you're going to build it in like forever, you're going to end up losing a little bit of something. But that's a pretty wide ramp you've got, which is pretty nice. Frederico Jordan, greetings from Brazil. Yeah, the Brazilian contingent are in. My goodness, what time is it in Brazil? I reckon that might be a medal of honour for tuning in at such a time. Tall and Doggy, street skating is for kids with flexible joints and flexible bones. I definitely agree. I mean, there's some dudes my age ripping the street, especially back in Bournemouth. There was a few dudes there really having it, but I guess they did it from a younger age and got that in the muscle memory. But yeah, it's the twisty ankle. I don't really mind the scrapey knee and the scrapey elbow. I don't mind a little bit of scrape. But it's when it's structural and when it means that I can't skate for prolonged periods. I just ask myself if oh no, I just like skateboarding a lot. So hike, run, cycle, skate is saying I'm suffering from Achilles tendonitis on my pushing ankle, which I think has been caused by cold enthusiast starts on the skateboard. So warm up and stretches are a good idea for a video. Yeah, when I started skateboarding, I had real Achilles pain all the time, and I think it was from like running out of various sort of tricks, and also I think also not warming up, but I think also just from like, not skateboarding ever in my life. My whole body was having to rework itself to try and get used to the skateboarding stance. But I remember the Achilles being a real problem for a while. Luckily it seems to have got better, and I sort of manufactured some Achilles pads, because I got bored very quickly of the board knifing into my Achilles, and I thought I really don't want, because an Achilles injury is a nightmare to come back from, and it's all about skating as much as we can. Federico from Brazil is saying it's almost 5 p.m. here, so not too bad. That's cool, man. 5 p.m. very nice. Dennis, do you have any favourite YouTube skaters? It's a great question. I like Chad Caruso. I have to say that one of the things that got me into skateboarding, there were quite a few catalysts that all seemed to hone me in, but I have to say the Braille skateboarding channel was quite a formative thing, because at that time there was a guy called Lance that was being taught to skate, and Lance was a beginner skater but getting amazing results quite quickly, and that sort of inspired me a little bit. I also like Jason Park. If you haven't seen Jason Park's YouTube channel, that combines amazing skateboarding and some brilliant humour, which are two things that I quite enjoy. And yeah, he's got some really nice content. Who else do I like? Yeah, I think those are the main ones that I tune into. I like watching the Street League. I like also watching the Olympics. I enjoyed the Olympics very much. I thought that came across very well. So Mark, you skate quite a wide range of the skate disciplines. Do you think you will eventually home in on one or two disciplines, or enjoy the full spectrum of skating? That's a great question, Mark. Yeah, I sort of flitted, I guess it's like a menu, like a banquet. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. There's so many sports within a sport. And I sort of felt like I should at least try all of them, or most of them. And I guess you just sort of work through and then get the ones that you enjoy. But it's also a case of like, you wake up some days and you feel like a certain thing. I might go for a bowl skate, I fancy some pool coping, or fancy the Vert. At the moment, because I've got tunnel vision, it's just all vert ramp. I remember being a bit like that about bowl skating. When I first started the bowl skating, I was like, that's it. And when I started getting on the surf skating, it was the same. And when I started having a little dabble on the freestyle board, exactly the same. I sort of got this, oh, you know, I get so excited and I just do that for a little bit and then try and blend it a little bit. So I'm hoping that the vert ramp honeymoon period will just start to mellow a little bit and I can get back and do some of my other stuff. I had a little go on the freestyle board the other day. If anybody had a look on the Instagram, I did a little Casper flip on to test out my rubbish concreting ability, and I enjoyed that session muchly, so I should do a bit more of that. Alan is asking, how nervous were you at Spit and Sawdust contest? I have to say, Alan, I was pretty nervous. I had to stop. I think I had to stop 7 times driving on the way there to go to the loo, which is an unusual amount to go to the loo on a drive, and I think that was down to the nerves. Also, I didn't have a clue what to expect and how it would run, and also trying to get the practice on the ramp was pretty tricky because there were so many people in the same boat, and I wish I'd had more time. I learned so many lessons from doing it. I wish I'd had more preparation. I wish I'd had more time skating that ramp. But in terms of the actual performance side, I'm quite used to like playing guitar gigs and things like that, and I sort of used to harnessing that energy, and I felt that that was the key thing I had in my favour, was the ability to do that, and like a peacock, even though I didn't have many feathers to display, I still felt I could get into peacock mode, and you know, because I'm an habitual show-off. So yeah, I found the actual contest runs okay, but the rest of it was very, very overwhelming. Ed is asking, all-weather ramp in that shed? I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it? That would be a little micro ramp, comedy micro ramp in the corner. I reckon that's the one. Nick Barry, loving the Mount Hawk t-shirt, John. Woo! Yeah, you got to fly the flag. I've only been here 2 weeks, and I like to think I'm a local already. Greg West, missing your presence around my local parks. Hope you and the family are settling. Nice one, Greg. Yeah, missing you too, dude. But I've got to say, there's been so many dudes who have come down. It's been great. It's been like I never left in terms of skating with the local dudes, because everybody comes down here on their holidays, so it's pretty cool. Tom and Dorky, what other sports did you do when you weren't skating? Oh, right, okay, so I started off racing sailboats in my teenage years, and through racing sailboats I got into teaching sailboats, because I got my instructor's award, and then that allowed me to travel overseas to teach sailboat racing. And in those sailboat centres they had windsurfing apparatus, so I quickly fell in love with windsurfing, and I guess that was my first board sport, and I became a windsurfing instructor, and then I travelled the world doing that. And then I got to a position where I went to centres that had windsurfing in waves. And then when there wasn't wind on the waves, I thought, oh, I'd have to go to surfboard, stand-up surfboard riding. So I learned to ride a surfboard, and that was something I really fell in love with. And then when the kite surfing kites became invented around about sort of the year 2000, I got onto those, because that was, again, something you could do when the waves weren't so great, but there was some wind. So then it was kite surfing was the thing. I dabbled with a little bit of snowboarding, and then through the kite surfing got into wakeboarding a little bit, and then the skateboarding was the thing that I should have started off doing, because that's the thing I love. And the sad thing is I love the skateboarding so much that I don't do any of those sports anymore. I try and do 1 or 2 sessions a summer, but last summer don't think I went out, which is terrible, really. I didn't go out. And I think I went out on the kite once, but I got into the hydrofoil riding on the kite, so I quite enjoy that. But I'm thinking I'm going to get more into the surfing and the wind sport here, because it is epic down in Cornwall for such a thing. That's a long answer. Ed is saying, you were riding with Sean Goff, the legend. I know. No pressure. It's pretty humbling. I'm sure he was very worried to see my name in his heat. I don't think. Yeah, it was such a privilege to stand on the same deck and watch that man skate a skateboard on the Vert ramp. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Spit and Sawdust competition was just such a great experience. So many nice people, such a great crowd. I like Wales anyway. I've been up to Cardiff numerous times to play guitar and stuff, so it's always lovely going across. It's amazing. It's a lovely skate park. If you get a chance to go to Spit and Sawdust, that Vert ramp is very, very nice. Andrew Spicer, did you ever consider giving skate lessons? You certainly gave me the confidence to drop in on the Mount Hot Bowl last week. Thanks again. No, that's right, Andrew. I think there's been sports that I've had as a hobbyist, and then sports that I've ended up teaching, and it definitely changes your relationship with that sport to teach it. Sometimes, often in a good way, it helps you to understand what you're doing a little bit more, and you learn a lot more, but sometimes it does take, the edge off of it. So, for instance, kite surfing, I never taught kite surfing because I wanted that to be my thing, and also it's just so dangerous. It would just be terrifying to try and teach somebody that. I think with the skateboarding, it's something that I enjoy doing, and I sort of naturally assume that role. But again, it's whether I feel confident doing it. I think I'd have to be a little bit better at skateboarding first before I felt I was in a position to be a skate coach. Lee is saying Sean's been skating since day dot. He's an inspiration for us older cats. Indeed, absolutely right. Yeah, what an amazing skateboarder. I saw somewhere Sunday he's not going to be at the Mount Hawk comp though. I think he's nursing an injury at the moment, so that's a shame. Good stuff. Well, it's been very, very exciting. Once again, thank you to everybody for subscribing. I think we're at about 8,100 and something now, so hopefully 9,000 will be just around the corner and we'll get to do this again. Ross said, you teach us in every video, you're already doing it. Well, that's very kind, Ross. I guess it's sort of via osmosis though, because I'm just sort of, I guess I'm a little bit selfish in that I'm just sort of thinking about it from my perspective, trying to think it through. And yeah, the videos more than anything are inspired by the Lance Braille model, because I found that the most helpful for me, because I found that watching a pro do the trick beautifully and give you a couple of pointers was not as helpful as watching somebody that's never done the trick before go from not being able to do it to doing it. And if you go back and watch any of those Braille videos where Lance is learning something, I just got all the information from that, because he was really very good at talking through what he was going to try and how it felt to him. And that was the main inspiration for when I was learning the tricks. I thought, if I can talk through this process to the camera, then this will help me progress. And for some reason there was some magic. I needed to actually talk through it for some reason. That was part of the process. And some of those videos are a little annoying to watch back, because I literally do one attempt and then I talk about what I've done in that attempt. So it's a little bit stop-start. I think in my later videos I got into a process of going to film the trick without talking, and I found that even quicker, and then I talked about it in the back garden shed, which was a little bit, I guess, easier to watch. That's the evolution of how the videos are put together. Tall and Dorky, I've only followed you for a couple of months. How long ago did you start skating? It was 3 years ago. I was 44 years old, and yeah, literally started from scratch, but sadly only started the skateboarding channel about a year into that process. In hindsight, it would have been great to start the channel from the start because it would have had all of the dropping in, and the dropping in was absolutely, I mean, it would have been amazing viewing because you would have seen a really overweight 44-year-old snapping his meniscus and falling off the back. But in the first year of skateboarding, I lost about 3 stone, I think, because I changed my approach to eating, and I changed, I worked out in the first couple of weeks of skateboarding. Number one, I loved it, and number two, being 3 stone too heavy was not going to work because it really hurt when I fell off. So I thought, right, if I can lose this, so I got into a regime of eating and working out and stretching and weights and stuff. And yeah, by the time the YouTube channel started, I was sort of in a better physical position, I guess. Let's have a look. Alan is saying, have you been to Campus Pool in Bristol yet? So many good parks in Bristol. Oh yeah. I went to Bath and I skated the big bowl in Bath, and that was pretty exciting. And there's also another couple of parks near Bath that are pretty exciting. I don't think I've been to Campus in Bristol though. Jonathan Caton, watching the process and the battle is a great way to learn. Yeah, I think through learning all of the videos where I'm like learning a trick are legitimate. I can't do the trick before I start the filming, and by the end there's some version of the trick. I think in hindsight it would be nicer to go a little bit longer than I do, because some of those early videos I literally do one. I literally do one make and that is it. That's where I leave it. And I learned that just doing one after 2 hours of trying doesn't mean that you've learned the trick in any way. I found that you've got to move past that and do like 10 makes and then go back the next day and then go through the process again and do hundreds and hundreds of makes until eventually you've got something remotely consistent that is good to watch. And Lee is saying, Shane Lance left Braille, when are you decorating the shed? I'm pretty excited about the shed, but it's not really that skateboardy, so I feel guilty talking about it. And I've got to put in some wood, and then put in some insulation, and then put in some plasterboard and stuff. You can see that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to making sheds. It's pretty much like everything else, I sort of just trial and error. So Neil Hester is in the house. Neil's a fellow vert skating enthusiast and somebody that hopefully is joining me for the Mount Hawk competition. And Neil also skated the ramp in Southampton that I had a few lessons on with the fine Greg Noack in the boom skateboarding school. Lee Stammers, evening, cheer, what a nice one, dude. Regular Foot is saying, hi John, I'm a new subscriber, just turned 46 young. Yeah. Thank you for all your tips and skateboarding suggestions. Nice one, dude. You are most welcome and you are in the right place. Oh my goodness. Taller Dorky, what is that white material behind you? Is it a vapor barrier? Well spotted. You are somebody that knows their barriers. Yeah, it's a vapor barrier. The first stage, and then the insulation goes in, and oh my gosh, not going to be able to sleep tonight again thinking about the vapor barrier. Lee Stammers, 45, welcome 40 plus dudes. Nice one, yeah. Alan Cairns, room for a ramp in your new garden. Yeah, I reckon. I was just saying earlier on in the cast that I'm thinking about trying to get a new skate park built, or at least get permission to do a DIY build on the local play park, which has got a disused, dismantled skate park area that I think could be repurposed. Andrew Spicer, when is the Mount Hawk comp? Do they open to spectators? They do indeed, Andrew, and they also open to people. You should get involved, dude. You should definitely enter, my son. Whoa, get that drop in. You. Yes, but open to spectators, and if you go on the Mount Hawk website, it will tell you how to go about it. I think you can skate the rest of the park while it's on. I think it's just open. Regular foot, awesome, thanks for the shout out. Not half. Lee Stammers, how's the Crete flat ground? Loving it, dude. Yeah, I love a bit of flat ground on the old freestyle setup. And I had one session on the concrete block that I built for the back garden shed, and I was thinking about I should just leave it because it was so fun to have your own little bit of concrete. So maybe I'll build another, maybe that'll be the back garden build. It'll just be a concrete block to do some freestyle on. No is saying, and that's the YouTube name is No. John Buddy, greetings from Germany. Vapor barrier looking great. Hey, not off. Neil Hester, joining you but thoroughly bricking it. New shed coming along nicely. Thank you, sir. Nah, you'll be absolutely fine, Neil. But I know what you mean. It's very, very scary, and I'm excited to see you do your runs in the comp. Woo! Wow, believe it or not, we have managed to while away 1 hour talking about skateboarding, and it's been very, very, very enjoyable. Can you do frontside and backside airs? Which is easier? I can do such a thing, and I don't think I can really claim that I can do them properly, because on the vert ramp I can't go out above the coping, which I would count as a proper air, but I can do them below the coping. For me, I find the backside air easier because you can bail out of it, but I know a lot of guys find frontside airs easier because you can see the ramp. My friend Callum, who I was skating with, does a very nice frontside air and finds the backside harder. I struggle a bit with the frontside air, but I find the backside easier. So it swings and roundabouts, as they say in soccer. Alan Cairns, favourite trick? Any tricks that you've never managed? I would like to do a frontside Smith grind, which is something I've never attempted. I can do a frontside Smith stalk, but I've never got it to grind across. So that's going to be one of my next ones. And I've got to say the tuck knee frontside air would be my all-time favourite trick of all time. Just ever since I saw Tony Alva doing that in a pool, that was my breaking point. That was watching Dogtown and Z-Boys, and then that part where they started saying, oh, he was, surfing, and because I'm quite, surf orientated, the front side tuck knee air would be I could die happy if I ever get that one out of the coping by just a little tiny bit. Lee Stammers, any tips for carving frontside in a bowl? Oh, dude, yeah, I mean, the typical tips is for carving is to bend your knees, and it sounds like a simple one, but it's the hardest thing ever to do, because what bending your knees does is puts you closer to the perceived danger. So I found when I was training to bend my knees more, what I was actually doing was training my brain to understand that was not only okay, but it was actually safer to be closer to the perceived danger. So I would say the more you can bend your knees, the best. And I used to do various drills like grabbing the rail of the board, because that forces you to be low. You physically can't grab the rail of the board unless you're quite low down. And also things like, I guess my surfing helped me a lot with carving. I found carving frontside especially came a little bit more naturally than some other people, just because for my entire life it seems I've been chasing right-handers, which as a regular footer means I'm frontside going down the line looking at the face of the wave, which is champagne surfing setup. And I found that those frontside turns felt quite natural, even though you're doing it on concrete instead of in water. But yeah, if there's anything you can pick out of that, there's a couple of videos I've done on carving, and I think the one that you might find the most helpful is the fakey carving ones, only because when I'm learning to carve fakey, that is like starting again, so you can see all the mistakes that I make, because learnt to carve a skateboard in the first year of skateboarding when I didn't have a YouTube channel. So none of my videos are trick tip videos in so much as that I do them about things that I can already do. So the only way that I could film a video about frontside carving was to do it fakey, which meant that I was starting afresh. Oh, that's a long answer. What's the highest tranny you could acid drop roll in on? I reckon 4 foot Lee. Anything over that and I get way too overexcited. Should try it a bit taller, but no, just over the coping straight forwards at 4 foot is my max. Dark is saying, cheers for the advice. As luck would have it, there's a timber merchant about 5 minutes from my house. Brilliant. Yeah, get in there and flutter your eyelids and give them some charm. And tell them what you're doing, because they might get excited about it. Alan Cairns, can't wait to see your video footage after Mount Hawk. Good luck. It's been great seeing your progress. Nice one, dude. Yeah, I'm going to start wrapping things up, I think, because we've gone over our hour mark. Tall and Dorky, are you still stoked on the concrete blocks you use for the coping? Do you have a preference between steel or concrete coping? I've got to say, Tall and Dorky, I love the concrete coping vibe, the sound it makes, and all of that malarkey. But for your own backyard ramp, for me, it was just so much upkeep. There was just so much maintenance, like lacquering it and then get chips out of it and then filling it in. So when I got the steel coping, I found I could just concentrate on the skateboarding and the progression and not have to worry so much about the concrete. But I think if you get proper, because those were just a bit of path edging from the local thing that cost like a £5, so I don't know what I was expecting. But I think if you get like proper pool coping or some really good, hard core concrete, it'll probably be a different story. But for me, the steel coping was a bit of a game changer in terms of the amount of maintenance required. Nice one, guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a great evening, and thank you very much for all of your input and your continued support. I will continue to knock up the old videos. I've missed my weekly schedule just because I've been working on the back garden shed, but I'll get back on track with the every Friday, Saturday, Sunday touch. Nice one. Well, let's see if we can make this stop without it all falling off of my jaunty setup. Oh, Spice said, just want to say thank you for your videos. Nice one, dude. Very cool. Talkie, thanks. Right. Keep it ready. Nice one, guys. Right, I'm going to make it stop. Here we go. Where is it? Oh, make it stop.